ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः उकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते ईश्वरो मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ पेज पे சொன்னதுக்கப்புறம் ரிப்பீட் பண்ணுவோம். ஓம் ஆப்யாயந்து மமாங்கானி வாக் பிராணச்சக்ஷுः श्रोत्रमतो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मे अस्तु। तदात्मनि निरते यः उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ஸோ ஆதி சங்கராச்சாரியாரால் ஸ்தாபனம் பண்ணப்பட்ட 4 மதங்கள் மட்டங்கள் முக்கியமாக கருதப்படுறது பாரதத்தில் ஈஸ்ட், வெஸ்ட், north, south. In all these 4 places, Adi Shankaracharya channel madhittu has established 4 matas for the propagation of the Vaidika Dharma. The propagation of Vaidika Dharma is much necessitated so that a human being realizes his goal of life. Not just knows the goal of life, but also realizes the goal of life. Of that, one of the very prominent and well-renowned, embedded with diamonds of intellectuals as the Matadipatis, is the Sringeri Sharada Peetham. Sringeri Sharada Peetham, the person who decorates the Peetha is called Sannidhanam. So when there are more than one Peethadipati with a successor identified, one is called Mahasannidhanam, the successor is called Sannidhanam. So let us take this opportunity to offer our pranams to Mahasannidhanam Shri Shri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswamigal and also Sannidhanam Shri Vidushekara Bharati Mahaswamigal. It is in fact a very unique idea initiated by the Kolkata Sharada Peetham to have a discussion on the goal of life at the juncture of every Paurnami. I am not going to translate Paurnami into English. It is called Paurnami Sandhya. Few Paurnamis back, in the same Paurnami Sandhya, through Mahasannidhanam, we got the opportunity to dwell upon the summary of the Mundaka Upanishad. Continuing the same, yet another blessing of the Acharyal is today where we are going to take up Kenopanishad in a short and brief manner to just take back home the essence of the Kenopanishad. With that said, Kenopanishad is a very, very small Upanishad. Of the smaller Upanishad, Kenopanishad is considered one among them. Much smaller are the Mandukya Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad. Kenopanishad also is a small Upanishad with just about 35 mantras. Kenopanishad appears of the four categories of the Veda. Kenopanishad appears in the Sama Veda. Like uniquely for every Veda, there is one Shanti Pata that is specifically designated for every Veda that appears, that is in the particular Veda. Much like that, Kenopanishad also has its Shanti Pata, which is the Shanti Pata of the whole Sama Veda, which is Apyayantu Mamangani. We will shortly look at the brief meaning of the Shanti Pata. Before getting into the Shanti Pata, let us first take the name of the Upanishad. Kena. What is Kena? Kena is a Sanskrit word which takes its meaning as by whom. By whom? By whom Upanishad is what we are going to talk. By whom? So when you go home back and you suddenly see there is something nicely done, what's your question? By whom? Now, maybe it's a different way of asking. You will ask, who did it? Right? Who does this? Similarly, very, very uniquely, this Upanishad starts with the question, by whom? So much so, the Upanishad also takes its name by the first word of the Upanishad, by whom. Okay? So the by whom Upanishad. Okay? Right. That being its name, let us now look into the Shanti Pata before we enter into the content of the Upanishad. What does the Shanti Pata say? What does Shanti Pata basically meant for? A Shanti Pata, by the very name, is for bestowing Shanti. Shanti in the sense of, may my obstacles be removed. There are three kinds of obstacles that a person may encounter who has destined to take up the purpose of life given by the Vedas as his purpose of life. What is the first Shanti? First Shanti is called Adi Daivika Shanti. All those obstacles that are caused by the natural forces, may they rest. May they not affect me. It's a prayer. Shanti Pata is a prayer. What is an example of an Adi Daivika Shanti? Adi Daivika obstacle. Say you wanted to come here and there is enormous rain that is happening and you are not even able to step out of the house. It is something beyond your control or beyond any human being's control to overcome that obstacle, and that becomes a real obstacle and you are not able to do what you want to do. So it is better that we pray. When nobody can do anything about it, I think the best person whom we can look for to solve our problem is Ishvara. So, O Ishvara, let there be Adi Daivika Shanti. The second type of obstacle is Adi Bhautika Shanti. The obstacles that are created by other living beings. Generally, I don't think any other living being other than the human being causes any obstacle to you, because we ensure that they don't live with us. And even if they live with us, we ensure that they are our pets and they are tied to a corner. Much in the same way we try to do with the human beings also, and we successfully don't succeed. So there are human beings in a positive way become an obstacle to you, or in a otherwise way become an obstacle to you. So somebody causes you some mental irritation, or they cause you some stress. They pick on you on something that you did in the past, and you really lost your cool and you just cannot attend a class. It is a Adi Bhautika obstacle. Positively, your friend from US lands up just before the class and says, I just came all the way 200 kilometers to meet you. You cannot do anything about it. You just have to be at home and honor your guest. So either in a positive way or otherwise, other human beings can cause obstacle to you. Can is a very liberal word. I must say they do cause obstacles to you. The third form of obstacle, and the most considered to be the most powerful form of obstacle. What is the source of that obstacle? My own self, my thinking, my making, the way I look at things, the way I project things, the way I decide on things. If nothing of this, if there is no commission or omission, I have this unique thing called being very moody. I am not in a mood to attend class today. There is no natural forces stopping you, your husband or your spouse or your neighbor or your friends. Nobody stops you from going to the class or pursuing this knowledge. You decide that you are not in a mood to do it and you don't do it. Just an example. So, all that is your own making, your own thinking. Kenopanishad, I don't think I will understand, let me not go. It's again Adi Atmika Shanti. It is called Adhyatmika Shanti. So, all these three obstacles are graded in a particular way. Generally, Ishvara doesn't come in your way. The natural forces, they are they are the last ones to bother you in the way of your pursuit of knowledge. So you can just, Swami Chinmayananda used to say, you can just say Shanti. Then the next higher grade of obstacle is from the fellow human beings. Okay? It is tough to manage them. Therefore, your cry to Ishvara must be much louder. Shanti. The most powerful, very difficult to manage, often cheated by that obstacle is the Adhyatmika Shanti. Therefore, the loudest cry possible, Shanti. Anyways, there is a method to chant it. It is Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay? Right. Now with this being the concept of a Shanti mantra, let us step into the specific Shanti mantra for Samaveda, which also happens to be the Shanti mantra for Kenopanishad. Okay. For Kenopanishad, I am not going to go by a word-by-word meaning in this summary session. If I go by a word-by-word meaning, then I will need 14 or minimum 12 sessions to complete the Upanishad. So, I may skip some word meanings here and there, or wherever some word meanings are very relevant, or where by Sampradaya some words are very, very important to stick into the mind, I will mention those words and their meanings. This Shanti Pata which we just chanted at the beginning of this class, Apyayantu mamangani vak prana chakshuhu shrotramato balam indriyani cha sarvani. What is that I am praying? Apyayantu. May they grow in strength. Let them go in strength. Apyayantu. May they grow in strength. What? All my indriyans, vak, pana, etc. Karmendriyani cha, pranendriyani. The instruments of action, the instruments of knowledge. Both have to coordinate well so that I comfortably move forward in my spiritual journey. And further, the Sishya also quotes that Sarvam Brahma. Sarvam Brahma. Now there may be a question, a person who is about to study this Upanishad declares that everything is Brahman, so what more he needs to know? So Shankaracharya gives an injunction here. He says that it is not as knowledge, but it is as belief. Because Veda mantras and all the seers, all the rishis have said that all that is here is Brahman. And that is also aptly supported by a word following in the same Shanti mantra, Au Upanishadam. Au Upanishadam, as the Upanishads say, everything is Brahma. So when somebody says the Upanishads say that everything is Brahma, that means it indicates that the person is an astika. An astika is a person who has the knowledge that Upanishads are the source of knowledge for self-knowledge. Right? Though he has not gained the knowledge, whatever is mentioned, whatever is said in the Upanishad, he takes it to be true. He takes it to be true only until such time that he sees it for himself to be true. When he sees for himself it to be true, he no more has to believe or he no more has to take it as truth, because he knows the truth for himself. Now here in the Shanti Pata, when he says Au Upanishadam Sarvam Brahma iti, he says that as the Upanishads spell out that all that is here is Brahman, may that Brahman not reject me. Ma aham Brahma nirakurya. May I not reject that Brahman. May my mental poise, which is towards attaining this knowledge that everything is Brahman, that everything is intrinsically one single substance which is limitlessness, that Brahman, may I not mentally even reject my pursuit of this knowledge. Though I have not received the knowledge, not even knowing what the knowledge is going, how the knowledge is going to be, still may I have the mental poise and interest to gain that knowledge. Just because I don't know something, may I not reject it. May I have complete devotion towards the object or the subject matter of the knowledge. Tava tattvam na jhanami kidrushosi yadrushosi mahadevaha thad sadrushosi namo namaha. There is a shloka by some Pandit, very nice shloka, which says that Tava tattvam na jhanami. I don't know the truth of what you are, but whatever be it, however you are, in that particular way, please accept my pranams. So this kind of a mental attitude every student must possess. Mama Brahma nirakarot. May that Brahman not reject me. May that Brahman not reject me. May I have Ishvara Kripa. May I have the Ishvara Kripa to pursue this knowledge. Anirakaranamastu, anirakaranam me astu. May there not be any rejection. May there not be any rejection. In other words, the student through this prayer expresses basically, number one, the fitness of Stula Sukshma Sharira Arogyam. He prays for Stula Sukshma Sharira Arogyam. Second thing is, he expresses his Shraddha on the subject. Third and final part, Te Dharmaha Mayi Santu. He also prays that in order that the Brahman does not reject me, Also that I do not reject the Brahma, whatever are the qualifications, the dharma, the values that I must definitely possess to gain this knowledge, may those dharmas or values be mine. So he also prays for sadhana chatushtayam, which is the qualification which makes a person capable of gaining this knowledge, which is viveka, vairagya, shatka sampatti and mumukshutvam. With this, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This is the Shanti Pata, the prayer. Proceeding to the Upanishad, like any other Upanishad, every Upanishad is a beautiful and a nice presentation, nice way presented in the form of a dialogue between a guru and a Sishya. Most of the Upanishads have the Guru's name and the Sishya's name. This is one rare Upanishad where the Guru's name and Sishya's name are not known. Only the question and the answer is known. And also the reason why Upanishad is in form of a question and answer is that a person who has been living a proper religious life, who has gained the mental disposition to transcend the fruitfulness of karma as anitya, that is, they are just illusionary and they are not permanent, and the person who seeking the permanency as his goal of life, to that person the natural result or natural state the person will get into is a quest. He will end up with a question asking what it is. All this while being in religious life in karma kanda, all his asking will be for him. In karma kanda, through religious life, all that he will be asking is for him. Ishvara, Brahman, or whatever name he calls, Ishvara, let's take the word Ishvara. Ishvara is for him. Now he gets to a stage where he has transcended the mental stage of asking for him, and now he is with questions as to what is that Ishvara? Why is that I am asking? Is it real? Is it unreal? Whatever I ask, even though it is given by Ishvara, it does not stay. Even if it stays for a long time, it does not give the happiness consistently across all periods of time. So, he has experienced anityatva in two ways. One, what he gains does not stay, number one. Number two, even if it stays, he experiences anityatva in terms of the happiness he derives out of what he has gained. So with this knowledge, he ends up on a very intelligent conclusion that all that is a result of his past actions, good actions, exalted actions, religious actions, sacred actions. Even though they are so, their results are impermanent. So this is the general mental poise of any Upanishad student. Therefore, most of the Upanishads, 99% of the Upanishads, they start with a question. And the question being answered in the form of the entire Brahma Vidya being unfolded. Much similarly, Kenopanishad is also the speciality of this Upanishad is the very title of the Upanishad itself is a question. Kena is a question in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, Kena is by whom? By whom Upanishad? The knowledge of by whom. Right. Okay. With this, let's first chant the question. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. Kena prana prathama praiti yuktaha. Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti. चक्षुश्रोत्रं कौदेवो युनक्ति. A very refined question, deep question. We need to take little bit of time in understanding the very question. It is a different thing that we need a lot of effort to understand the answer that the Upanishad gives. But it is also equally, in fact, more important that we understand the questions that are being asked in Upanishad. Did you ever ask, where did everything come from? You would have definitely asked in the childhood. And I am sure you would have asked to do your school homework first and then ask all these questions. Because the person to whom you asked, he never knew the answer. Jokes apart. So, this very question, by whom? So, keneshitam patati preshitam manaha kena prana pratamayoga. So, the student, if you want, the student's question is, by whom are these mind and senses are made sentient? By whom? By whom? By whom what? It is an incomplete question. By whom? So the completion of question is, by whom are the mind, senses, etc. are made sentient? By whom? By whom the eyes see? By whom the ears hear? By whom the mouth speaks up? So, how does this happen? Now, what is the purport behind this question? What he exactly intends to ask? Or, if we have to understand the question, we have to understand the state of maturity, the state of understanding that the student already has. So the student already understands that there are two things in this world. One is matter, the insentient, and the sentient. Don't call it energy. Energy is not sentient. Sentiency, matter and energy are both are one and the same with two different words. I think that's what Sir Einstein concluded, right? Albert Einstein, what did he conclude? Matter and energy are interchangeable. If you have matter, you can get energy out of it. If you have energy, you can bring matter out of it. All that is fine. Okay? Some happens through natural process. Some scientists do through multiple scientific processes. That apart, be it you call it matter, you call it energy, it is one and the same. That comes under the insentient category. And there is this sentient category. If a car is moving towards you, what do? You try to indicate, right? You just show your hand saying that don't come near. Do you think the bonnet of the car can understand you showing the hand? No. Do you think the windshield of the car can understand showing the hand? But still, why do you show that? Why do you show the hand? Because you are very sure that even though the bonnet, the engine, the tires, the wheels, the chassis, all that are not sentient, there is a sentient being apart from this who can respond to you. Right? And as you see, let us take another example. Now what are we doing? We are trying to understand you suddenly remembered your car. Have you all locked your car? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So car is one example. So if the car is moving, there is a sentient person inside it. If the car is in a slope and slowly it starts moving, a sentient being missed to apply the handbrake. Again, a sentient being is responsible for that. Anyways, taking another example, you buy a new AC. You want the delivery the same day. It does not happen. You fight with the person and the AC box, inside unit, outside unit, external unit, internal unit. Both the units get delivered the day after. That's it. AC has come. Will the house become cool? No. It needs to be installed. You installed. After installation, does the room remain cool? No. You have to switch on. So the entire AC unit, the inside unit, the outside unit, they are not sentient. They are just matter. They just remain. But when you switch on, then you see that it starts working. Right? It starts giving what it needs to give. Again, in this whole hall, if you see that one fan is not working, it is just there, and all the other fans are working, what is your conclusion? The particular switch relating to that fan has not been switched on. Or the more correct conclusion is that there is an invisible principle that is pervading this particular insentient fan to make it operate, which is not happening with the other fan, which is still. Right? So there is an invisible principle, which makes the insentient sentient. This is the understanding of the student who is asking the question. It feels that he has already attained all knowledge. No. He is at a stage where he knows that there is something, but he doesn't know what it is. Therefore, the question is, what is that factor? What is that invisible factor? What is that sentient factor? What is that factor that pervades? Shall I repeat? What is that invisible factor? What is that sentient factor? What is that factor that pervades, which makes the insentient sentient? This is the question. Now, to answer to this question, the Guru in Kenopanishad, the person who gives the answer, gives two levels of definitions. Say there is a factor which is called X. Generally, in our studies, the unknown factor is called X. When we say unknown, what is known about unknown? That it is. There is something, but I don't know about it. Right? So the known fact about the unknown is its existence. So here the student knows that there is a sentient principle, but he doesn't know what it is. Okay. After studying hundreds of classes and many Upanishads and many Prakarana Granthas, we will be tempted to say, it is Atma, why is I have to ask this question? But if the Guru says that is Atma, Atma translates as what? Self. It is yourself, my dear. When the person does not know what the true self, the sentient self is, and asking this question, and you give him back an answer that is yourself, then he will be tempted to again include the insentient, otherwise called anatma, as a part of atma and get further confused. Therefore, the simple answer that it is atma, which is yourself, is not the right way of giving the answer, because it does not help you understand anything. Therefore, there is a very peculiar way in which the Guru gives an answer to this. Let us read the answer. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyat vachoha vacham savu pranasya pranaha chakshuscha chakshuhu ati muchya dhiraha pretyasman lokat amrita bhavanti. Fine, done and dusted. Answer is given. Also says who can understand this, and also says what is the fruit of understanding this. One single mantra finishes the Upanishads in style. What is the answer? He says that that which pervades, that which is beyond, and that which is not visible. So, when the student is asking this question, he is asking a body-centric question. He has this body, he has the senses, and now he is asking a question: what is that principle which makes this insentient body and all its organs sentient? And the answer that comes from the Guru is that it is the eye of the eye. It is the ear of the ear. It is the mind of the mind. It is the speech of the speaking. It is the prana of the prana. Okay, what is the teaching here? That is, the teaching here is that what is the fan of the fan? Let's take our old example, the working fan. When the fan is working, what makes the fan work? Electricity. Okay. If electricity's pervasion into the fan is not possible, say there is some defect somewhere, but it will still appear, everything will appear the same. Okay? You switch on. It doesn't work. Then you generally ask this question, what happened to this fan? Then a person who has been facing that for quite some time will give you an answer. It looks like a fan, but it actually is not a fan. Why? Because a fan is a fan only when there is some amount of breeze coming out of it, right? Otherwise, it is like a fan, right? It doesn't become a fan. Okay, so coming to the question, and let's analyze one more example. I'm taking the example of people who are blind by birth, who have an organ called eye, and they also have the nervous assembly that needs to be there, but still they will not be able to see. Many cases, the anatomy and the science, etc., cannot explain the reason. It is by birth. The answer that they give is, it is either genetic or something, or there is another word to call, that is allergy in other cases. So, what do we understand? While there is an equipment, there is an apparatus, for an intended purpose, still that apparatus does not function in the intended purpose. That apparatus loses the very status of being so. Right? He has an eye, but he cannot see. Then what makes the eye an eye? What makes you hear? What makes you think? What makes you speak? What makes you see is a principle which is not restricted to this particular apparatus that you use, and that principle is not visible, not perceivable by you, yet that principle pervades the apparatus, making the apparatus work. Therefore, shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyat ityadi mantra dwara, what is being made understand to the student is that the X factor, the unknown factor, which is the sentiency principle, popularly called as Atma, is the principle of consciousness or Chaitanyam, that is the eye of the eye, eye of the eye, ear of the ear, mind of the mind, etc., etc., etc. So, Deha Vyatirikta, Deha Vyatiriktam, Deha Vyapakam, Deha Avyakta, Atma, Tat Devaha Asti. What is that Deva? That Deva is pervading the body, making the body sentient, and not available for the perception by the body also. Yet, you know it is, and because it is, you know everything else. That is the principle of Chaitanyam. This is the beautiful answer given by the Guru. There is a second definition to which the Guru gives. Guru further explains it. न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न वाग्गच्छति नो मनः न विद्मो न विजानीमः यतैतदनुशिष्यात् अन्यदेव तद्विदितात् अथो अविदितादि अन्यदेव तद्विदितात् अथो अविदितादधि इति शुश्रुम पूर्वेषाम् येनस्तत् व्याचचक्षिरे. This is the second definition of Atma. So when we say definition, it is Atma Lakshanam. So the first definition of Atma that was given is Atma Chaitanya Swarupaha. It is the principle of sentiency that pervades, that enlivens, that is beyond, that is not perceptible, yet the very consciousness principle, that is Atma. That is the Deva that you asked for. So the answer for by whom is what? By whom? By consciousness. Okay. Now, how to know that consciousness? The answer given by the Guru extends is that don't try to know the consciousness. Because all the faculties of knowledge that you employ to know anything, those faculties function as knowing faculties because of this consciousness factor that pervades and enlivens that faculty. Right? So when there is this principle that pervades and enlivens and makes you the knower, you the knower cannot know what makes you the knower. Therefore, the Guru goes ahead and says that, is it something that is not known? No, it is not that which is not known. It is something that is very clearly known, like how I know the table before me, the book before me. No, it is not like that. Then how to understand, how to grasp this consciousness, how to grasp this consciousness, which is the very sentient principle of this entire universe. So, let's categorize all the objects from a knowledge perspective, from the knowing perspective. Let us categorize all the entire scheme of things into two categories. One, the knowns. The second category is unknown. Is there a third category? There is no third category. There is one category, all that I know. There is another category, which all that I don't know. Okay? There is no third category. But is there a third thing? There is a known object. There is an unknown object. Tell me an unknown object. An object that is unknown to you. You cannot say because it is unknown to you. Tell me a known object to you. கைமுறுக்கு கைமுறுக்கு தெரியும் எனக்கு, நான் என்ன சாப்பிட்ருக்கேன். இட் இஸ் அ நோன் ஆப்ஜெக்ட். பதர்பேணி, ஹூ டசன்ட் நோ பதர்பேணி? ஆல் ஆஃப் யூ நோ. ஓகே. ஹூ நோஸ் ஷாஹி காட்டுகுடா? ஹூ டசன்ட் நோ ஷாஹி காட்டுகுடா? Thank you for making my example work. So Shahi Katukada is in unknown category for them. For many of you, it is still in known category. Take anything in the world, they either come in the known category or unknown category. Is there a third thing? There are two things. All the things which is object of my knowledge, either I know them or I don't know them. So known object, unknown object. Is there a third one? Shastra says, yes, there is this third one which is called the knower. Never ever that consciousness principle which is shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyate vachoha vacham chakshuscha chakshuhu, never ever try to know it, because it never falls under vidma na vijanima. That is, it never falls under the known or unknown category, because that is the very knower. In this way, to the question that was asked, in the first answer, first definition, the Guru said that it is the consciousness principle. In the second answer, by telling that it is the knower, he makes that blessed consciousness principle is yourself. So Mahavakya is the culmination here. Right, now having defined Chaitanyam, Atma Lakshanam, he proceeds to, in the first kanda, there are 4 kandas in Kenopanishad. In the first kanda, he proceeds to say how this should be known. How this should be known. In other words, Atma Jnana Prakaranam. Okay. This is what is Atma. What is Atma? The sentiency principle, which cannot be known, which pervades, which enlivens, and which is the very knower. How to perceive this? How to get into this? So it further he helps saying that yat vachana abhyutitam yena vak abhyudite yan manasana manute yena hur manomatam yat chakshusha na pashyati yena chakshu gumshi pachyati yat shrotrena shrunoti yena shrotramidagum shrutam yat pranena praniti yena prana praniyate. He just, the anyadeva viditat ato avididatati na vidmaha na vijanimaha, He just gives an explanation to this one single line in the rest of the Kanda. What does he say? That which cannot be seen, but by which everything is seen. That which cannot be thought about, but by which every thought happens. That which cannot be heard, but by which everything is heard. That which does not that which is not a prana, but the prana of everything. You can just, it is a small list given here in the Upanishad. You can put everything into it. Every blessed thing that you come across, that particular thing itself is not there, but by which that particular thing is, that is your blessed self, the consciousness. With this, the Modal Kanda, first Kanda comes to an end. And in the first Kanda, in the second answer, when the first answer was given by the Guru, not answer, first Samadhanam, the knowledge was given by Guru. He says, Pret Yasman Loka Amrtad Bhavanti. He talks about Videha Mukti Palan, Jivan Mukti Palan. In other words, a person who knows the self to be the consciousness principle, that is the very essence of all that is known, he is a enlightened person. Sorry to use the word enlightened. Okay, I am not finding an English word. He is a jnani. Okay, what is the meaning of enlightened? Put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You all have one light, not even one light per head. One person, single person have 8 lights for me. So I am an enlightened person, correct? That is not the meaning of enlightened person. Then what? What is becoming light? Reducing weight. So when you keep reducing weight, your enlightenment goes up, right? Therefore, the word enlightenment does not communicate it all. Okay? In other words, a person who is endowed with this wisdom of self. I think that is the best way to say it. Ati mrutya dhiraha. Nice, in a very nice way. The Guru also says that who will be able to grasp and derive the fruit of this knowledge is a dhiraha. Dhiraha means sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari. This is the first Kanda of the Upanishad. Proceeding to the second Kanda. Now, there was a question, there was an answer. And there was a little explanation about the answer, and the question and answer ended. That's it. Over. There was a question, there was an answer, and also Mahavakya also was unfolded. The purpose of the Upanishad is over. Now, the Guru is not very sure. If you come to me and you ask, Swami, I want to know Atma. And I say, Atma is Panchakoshatitaha, not this Panchakosha. It is Avastatraya Sakshi. It is not the Shariratrayam. It is the very Adhishtanam, which is the existence principle Brahman, which is pervades everything. Oh, thank you so much. And you go. What will be my expectation? My expectation is that you should come and study with me for many years. And after a short discussion, you say, thank you, I am done. Naturally, I will think, let me ask one question. Is really understood or not? Here the Guru poses a question. That is the interesting way in which it moves on to the second Kanda. Instead of directly asking, did you know the Atma? Say the Guru, so did you know the Atma? So what will be the natural question? Are you convinced? Have you known the Atma? What you will have to answer? You will either say, yes, I have known. Or you will have to say, no, not yet, I have not known. So this is the possible to answer. Now here the Guru takes those possible to answers to the intended question, and he kind of targets the Shishya to test his understanding. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabbramevapi nunam tvam veta brahmanaha rupam. If you say you have known the Brahman, not even a dust iota of Brahman's actual nature you have known. If you say you have known Atma or Brahman, not even a dust or iota of Brahman you have known. Yadasya tvam yadasya devash ata no mima gumsya meva. In case you consider so, then my dear, if the answer is no, I have not known, I don't have a problem. You are going to stay with me and study. No problem. But if you say you have known, then you have not known. If you say you have not known, then you have not known. If you say you have known Brahman, then also, my dear, you have not known. What you need to do? You please stay back, study and do Mimamsa. Mimamsa is having a more deeper analysis of the purport of this Vedanta Shastra. After having spelt this out by Guru, you know what is the answer the Shishya gives? I consider myself known. I consider myself known. Now, when the Guru says, if you say you have known Brahman, you have not known, and the Shishya responds that I have known, is he displaying arrogance, or indirectly does he mean that he is not known it yet, or is there any other thing in which, any other way, or what way did he actually know? There is sheer silence, and the silence will be broken in the next session. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Let's take 5 to 7 minutes break and come back.